The first thing you must do when you handle any firearm is to check and see if it is unloaded. Once the magazine release button is depressed, pull the magazine from the bottom of the frame. Then, pull back the slide to extract any round that is still in the chamber. Be sure to keep your finger out and away from the ejection port when you pull back the slide. You can lock the slide back with a slide lock lever located on this pistol on the left side of the frame. Now you can release the slide and with the pistol pointed in a safe direction, drop the hammer on the empty chamber by pulling the trigger. Now you have an unloaded semi-automatic pistol.
This is a Colt .45 caliber semi-automatic pistol. Now to load this gun, you want to keep the muzzle pointed in a safe direction. And you take a loaded magazine and insert it into the magazine well located at the bottom of the grip of the pistol. You will feel and hear a distinctive click when it is properly seated. Then you would want to pull back the slide, and I like to grasp it with my thumb and forefinger of my left hand. Pull back the slide all the way, and then let it go under the internal springs that are located inside the slide. A cartridge will be picked up by this return action, and now there is a cartridge resting inside of the chamber. You will note here that the hammer is now cocked back. It is now ready to drop on the firing pin with just a slight pressure on the trigger, like so. Now, if you're not ready yet to shoot this gun, you can apply the manual safety, which is this lever right here. It's usually found on the left-hand side of most pistols. All semi-automatic pistols, or most semi-automatic pistols, have a safety similar to this that is located on this left-hand side of the frame. Now, once again, even though the safety is applied, you should always keep the gun pointed in a safe direction because, after all, the safety is just a piece of steel and someday it could break, and you don't want to rely on the safety that would cause an accidental shooting. Now, to shoot this gun, again, release the safety, apply a slight pressure to the trigger, and squeeze. Now, when you shoot the last round, the slide will lock back, showing an empty chamber. You can see here that the slide is locked back. What you would do is drop the magazine, make sure that it is in fact empty, and then visually inspect inside the chamber to make sure that there are no rounds that are left or caught or somehow didn't get extracted. You visually want to look in there. And from there, you can lower the slide back by pulling back slightly and then releasing, and then drop the hammer on an empty chamber. The gun is now ready to be put away and stored for future use.
Semi-automatic pistols are also available in double action. This is a 9mm double-action semi-automatic pistol. It operates the same as a single-action semi-automatic, except that the trigger, like in a double-action revolver, can perform two actions. One, to cock the hammer, and two, to drop the hammer to start the firing sequence. Or, you may operate the gun like a single-action semi-automatic pistol and manually cock the hammer and depress the trigger. The trigger simply drops the hammer and starts the firing action. Most double-action pistols have a decocking lever along with or instead of a safety. This decocking lever enables you to lower the hammer without striking the firing pin. This allows you to carry the gun with a round in the chamber with the hammer down. Always remember to keep the gun pointed in a safe direction. To fire this gun, just apply pressure to the trigger and the hammer will cock and then fall to begin the firing sequence.
Now let's take a look at how to load the magazine of a semi-automatic pistol. This is the Glock Model 22, and this is its magazine. It holds 15 rounds of .40 caliber ammunition. First, note that there is a forward position for the magazine. The open end will be facing towards the barrel. The magazine is placed into the magazine well, facing towards the barrel. Now the ammunition is placed in the magazine with the bullet end facing towards this opening. What you want to do is take a cartridge in your hand and place it on the magazine follower, which has a spring inside of it, and press down slightly so that the bullet is caught in the magazine lips. Then take another round and using your left thumb or your right thumb, depending on what hand you are, push down slightly on the loaded cartridge. Take another cartridge, place it on top of the other one, push down and back, and it too will be caught within the magazine lips. Again, down and back. Now you can repeat this procedure until the magazine is completely full. And most magazines have what they call witness holes in the rear to tell you how many rounds are actually loaded. Now newer magazines will have newer springs, and they in turn are harder to operate than an older magazine. But once the magazine gets broken in, it is a little easier to load. If you have any questions about this loading process, loading the rounds into the magazine chamber, what kind of rounds, what the position is, please go down to your gun store and ask the owner or one of the clerks. They'll be happy to help you out.
There are many different types of semi-automatic pistols available to you, and each is designed for a particular purpose. Along with a huge selection of handguns is a large selection of ammunition and calibers for both semi-automatic pistols and revolvers. Here's a look at some. The 25 caliber, the 22 caliber, 380, the 40 caliber, the 45 caliber, 9 millimeter, the 10 millimeter, and there are several others. When purchasing a semi-automatic pistol, we recommend that you buy a firearm through your local dealer made by one of the major manufacturers. If you are purchasing a handgun for self-defense, we recommend that you buy one of the larger calibers, either a 9 millimeter or a 45. If you are a new gun owner, we suggest that you take a class or get personal instruction from a qualified instructor. One of the advantages a semi-automatic pistol has over a revolver is increased ammunition capacity. Most new generation semi-automatic pistols can carry 12, 13, or 14 rounds. This Glock pistol can carry 18 rounds of 9 millimeter ammunition. However, there are disadvantages with semi-automatic pistols. 1. The gun is much more complex to operate, with more moving parts than a revolver. 2. It is difficult to load and prepare to fire. 3. Semi-automatics can malfunction for several reasons: bad ammunition, poor shooting grip, or flinching while pulling the trigger. It is very important that you incorporate proper shooting techniques when shooting a semi-automatic pistol or a revolver.
Before you actually begin shooting, there are 4 basic fundamentals of pistol shooting: grip, stance, sight alignment and sight picture, and trigger control. All 4 are equally important for accurate and consistent shooting.
Now the grip you use will be what feels most comfortable for you, regardless if it's a revolver or a semi-automatic pistol. Using an unloaded gun, hold the gun in your non-shooting hand, and with your shooting hand, grasp the grip with the web between your thumb and forefinger as high on the frame as possible, keeping your finger out of the trigger area. This is a